Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Hello, Joanna.
Hi.
Dear friends.
Hi,
Yes,
Naomi.
we're live with our masterclass of Education 3000. Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Joanna, how are you?
fine. Today, I'm very excited because we're going to talk about the second class of characteristics that is going to be characteristics of the children of today and tomorrow, Noemi. So I'm very looking forward knowing what are the characteristics, how the kids changed along the years. And this is going to be very important for education, isn't it?
It's extremely important because before we think about what kind of education we want to do and what the children, what do they need, what do I need as a parent, as a teacher, we have to see the new way of learning, way of behavior, the new ways of interrelation as well of the children of today and tomorrow. We saw many changes. We did 20 years of research actually and survey and so on. Actually, last week we had a second survey with pediatricians, and they all say this is very different. So we have to be aware of that, and so we can attend the real necessities of the children of today and tomorrow. We need to have this projection. Do I make my point?
Yes, sure. You know, we realize that the kind of education that we have today is not anymore for the kids that we have today. So we realize that there's so many changes, like physiological changes in the brain, in the metabolism, many things that we're going to be seeing in all these interesting videos, isn't it? So
Yes, actually, we have at least three different levels of changes and
yes.
major changes.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes we can mistake that for something pathological, like hyperactivity or deficit of attention on spectrum of autism. It can be, but as well, we have to see the new vision. For instance, the metabolism is different. The physiological, I mean, the body is different, a lot of energy. The emotional part, or psycho-emotional part, is different. And the brain works different as well. That's a neurological part. So that's a lot. At
Oh,
least we have to be aware of that. We will give you the last information. As I told you last week, we interviewed many pediatricians. They all confirmed what we are going to talk about today. And they say this is massive now. It's not one or two children. You see, like before, it was maybe a case. Like
yes.
my children was a case. Everybody does say that. My grandchildren. I mean by case like something like extraordinary. But now we are talking about a trend. About
Yes.
80% of the children today, and we did a stat with Education 3000 of the survey, and really we had a very high number.
Yes.
So very interesting.
Yes,
OMG,
we have been
what's your
very
comment?
busy. Yes. So what we're looking for are your opinions. If you have people that have grandchildren or children, and you're seeing all these changes, and especially you can ask this to the grandparents that have seen their own kids, and now they see different the grandkids. So they have like a notice about all these changes along the years. So if you have all of these opinions, please put those in the chat that we have here, and all your questions and everything, so they could be answers with these videos with lots of information.
Yes. You are waiting for your comments, subscribe, share. Definitely. This is for everybody, these programs. We are going to do 25 classes, so master classes. So we are in touch, and this is for everybody, for the whole humanity. Do you want to see the video? We prepare a video for you guys, and then we will see the questions and a couple of comments and some example too. We want to
Yes.
share with you.
So let's
Shall we
get
try?
started with this video. Yes.
Let's
Let's
see if
go.
it is at the beginning.
3000.
Yeah, perfect.
So number two,
Yeah, number two. So let's see that.
3000. I am Noemi Paima, the founder and of P3000. or Education 3000.
Hi, Naomi. Hi, everyone. I'm David Fegan, the International English Program Coordinator at P3000. Naomi, what's the video about today? This is the second video in level 1 of our Co-Recreate Education series.
Yeah, it's a nice series, 25 videos, and we will cover all the news on education, update data as well. And today it's a very special subject because we see all the characteristics of the children of today and tomorrow. I have a hard time with this word. Characteristics of the children of today and tomorrow, of today and tomorrow. And that's very important to understand all the change of the brain, the metabolism, the change on psycho emotional issues on this level. So we can understand better our students, our children, grandchildren, and of course, change education according to those new changes.
Very interesting. Let's
Tell me, David, what did you see in the children? You are a teacher, right?
Uh-huh.
English teacher. So did you see some change? How do they learn? Are they faster?
Well, obviously, a big change, right, has been with technology and trying to move with that. So children are so smart. They're obviously a lot smarter than what a lot of people give them credit for. And a big difference as well. So, like, I'm from Australia, so I think in my childhood, I was able to be a child for a lot longer. But here in Bolivia, often you see children who really have to grow up a lot quicker because of, you know, the social context, social reality. So children are very quick and they move very quickly as well. But I guess what we want to talk about as well is that the education moves with that, because that's not always the case, right?
Yeah, it's moving very fast, and it will. We think it will move some more. I mean, it's a constant dynamic, so we have to be prepared, and that's why we decided to do those videos, or these videos, to catch up and to realize it's more easy than that what we think. We have tools, we have many ideas. Education is completely on the move right now. It's like a switch. It's like finally a big change. So we have to welcome those changes. It's not a problem. It's not the problem of education anymore. It's an opportunity to go on and really make a real change in the society, in the way we do things. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting times, and we're part of it.
Nice. So let's get started. So that's why we're really excited about today's video, because it's very, very interesting socially. I mean, like, Naomi, we know you're an anthropologist, so we're going to look at a lot of interesting factors that make up this topic today. So the characteristics of today's and tomorrow's children. Let's get started, Naomi.
Many change, of course, and as well to see the trend. Where do we go? Maybe in 5 years, 10 years, it will be more different even. So we really have to know these facts and the change and the tools and what to do and not to do and what is our part. We are all concerned by education. And please, I want to remind, it's a beautiful adventure. It's amazing. It's not, as I said, a problem. We have to recognize all those changes, the capacity of the children. They are fast, most of them very bright. Sometimes we don't realize, as you said, we don't give them all the credit. We have several levels.
So the 3 levels that we're going to look at, and these might be surprising changes: physiological, psycho-emotional, and neurological changes. So Naomi, how could you explain in a little bit more detail some of these surprising changes? Maybe you've seen these as well in your experiences, I imagine, in the last 20 years as well.
Yeah, we studied that for 20 years. We made stat. We will share that with you, some statistics. Physiological, it is a metabolism. Even the metabolism, the physical part of these children is moving, is changing fast. Psycho-emotional, the emotional issues is a big deal now. And neurological, the way the brain is working, the way they learn, and we do as well, is really, really amazing. So we offer you to cover that today and see yourself, maybe think about your grandchildren or children or students, see what's new in them. If you have little ones, what catch your attention, and please try to relate with what we are going to cover today. Those that, do you want to help us, Dave?
Yeah. So sorry to cut you off there. So here we've got a graph. We've got it's about self-taught and self-developed children. So P3000 did 2 studies with the University of Baja California in Mexico. These studies were in 2006 and later in 2013 with children from 5 to 8 years old. So can you tell us a little bit more about this 83%, Naomi, that you guys discovered in the studies?
Yeah, we did the first one in Bolivia, and then we can you say cross out? We checked or cross out the data?
Maybe cross-referenced?
Cross-reference with another research we did in Mexico, and we had basically the same results. So we are pretty sure about the new trends. Or maybe not that new, but at least we realize now something is happening. 83% is all the children combined as very positive result. 83 children out of 100 have good results. Good result will be more than 80%. It was 100 questions, so more than 80 questions were positive. I mean, they are the more, which is high. Self-taught, they learn by themselves, or didactic, I think in English.
Yeah, autodidactic.
And self-developed. This is based on the research of Maslow, Abraham Maslow, and this is very good. That's good news, dear teachers and parents who are listening to us. If they are self-taught, why do we worry so much? Let them learn by themselves, do their research, teach other kids, share, do their own approach, own project. They are incredible, and they work much better that way because they are motivated. That makes sense, right, David?
Makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
That's a very good news, but it will change completely. I mean, the way we design education, it's the protagonism is switching to them, and we are just the person who accompany. We are just the person who are giving emotional support, and the person who can organize the project or help, but we are not the one who teach anymore. And that's that's the revolution.
It represents a strong shift because I'm sure you can remember, Naomi, some teachers who just talk and talk and talk, and it doesn't really help you to learn necessarily, right?
Yes, and the teacher won't be tired anymore because it's tiring to talk and talk and to maintain silence and to always provide. So teachers, that's the good news. We will be more relaxed and less tired and more fun. We will have more fun. And this is good news too, because if the protagonism is toward the children, that means in the next society or the future society, the protagonism will be to the citizen, to them, because they will have the habit. to be responsible, to be in charge, see if they have an idea, instead of criticizing or criticize.
Criticizing.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
They will help and they will have ideas. This is called lateral thinking, and we will talk about that. So this is really the way we should focus now, and it's certainly not possible. It's a must now. Second one in our stats.
So the second one, the right hemisphere and the fourth brain, and 82%. Can you explain that a little bit more, Naomi?
Yeah,
Again?
we had a test to see if the right brain is like active and developed, and the front lobe here is called the fourth brain. And yes, we had a surprising result of 82%, meaning the two hemispheres are working at the same time. The right hemisphere, which is creativity, which is art and spirituality, is really functioning well in small children, especially. And I'm sorry to say, and usually before they go to school, but I'm talking about the old system. Now we are in the new one. And the fourth brain is very good news too, because this part of the brain here, when it's activated, it's more active. It's called the execution brain. It can, from an idea, go to the action. It's an humanistic brain, very result of altruism. And it's a brain of the future. It can project. So it's really what we want in education, to activate this brain.
Nice. And the third point from the study, sensitivity and emotional intelligence, 77%, Naomi.
Which is quite high. The quotient of the emotional intelligence of kids is much higher than the adult. I would say an adult of my age, we would have like 22%, 15%. So it's a huge leap, and it requires an education that offers techniques for emotional intelligence, techniques for how to deal with my emotions, self-esteem, and so on. And it's very important. I would say it's more important than even math or physics or chemics to start to deal with our own emotion and the emotion of the other person. We will do a video only on that, I promise.
Definitely, and we can also see, because we're also seeing, like from the first video when we talked about some of our pillars, like collaborative learning. So if we think about the first point that we looked at, that teachers can start to sort of like take these points, these results, and reimagine a little bit how they teach, and it's more collaborative. The child has more say, and that's beneficial for them. And this point here with developing emotional intelligence, that's obviously going to affect society in a positive way.
It does. And teamwork, of course, as you said, it's vital. Now everything is in team, so we have to know that from very early age. And it goes with nonviolent communication as well. Yeah, there is a lot to talk about that.
We're going to talk about some of this in the second series of videos. For example, psychic abilities, we're going to look at more depth in the second series in level 2 of the videos.
Yes.
But just to bring it back to the present, here we've got sensitivity, intuition, and psychic abilities, 44%. So I imagine a lot of our viewers might want to know a little bit more about what that means and what that statistic represents, Naomi.
Yes. Yeah, it's like empathy. Now it's called high psychic empathy level, and 44% is very high. It's hard to measure, I recognized, but we tried our best, and we had a lot of reports from teachers as well, especially with very small children, and they say, yes, we see we can notice really this kind of abilities, including sensitivity, intuition, and even psychic abilities. And that's good news, because it will be a society much more empathy, with more empathy.
So,
This is a resume.
A summary?
A summary.
Uh-huh. So we've got a lot of very important qualities there when we're talking about children: self-taught, independent, precocious, sensitive, rapid, lateral thinking, loving nature, digital natives, as well as we discussed earlier.
Definitely.
We can see that technology is playing a much bigger part in our learning. Multitaskers, bright, high level of emotional intelligence, empathetic, intuitive. And the last point, they get bored with schoolwork. And we can see the example here of Carlos Antonio Santamaria Diaz, 12-year-old, who is studying now at university biomedical physics. And it's very interesting, Naomi, isn't it? His objective, what he wants to do with his talent. He wants to learn how to build cells to cure diseases. He wants to help society. Why is that so important, Naomi?
And remember, that's a characteristic of the lobal front, of the fourth brain, of this part. It's you always want to do something for others as well. And that's new. By the way, UNAM is the most prestigious university of Mexico. And we know many children like that. I want to, maybe you know Adara, Adara, Adara Perez. She's only, now she must be 9 years old. And she finished school at 7 years old, 8 years old. Now she's at the university. She wants to be an astronaut, and she's doing a wonderful speech, and she's on YouTube. I really recommend, please type Adara with an H, Perez, astronaut or astronauta. I think it's in Spanish, but in Europe as well, there is a lot of kids. We have reports of kids, and they always want to do something like peace culture or do something with their talent. And I think that's wonderful.
It's very interesting as well, because I think, at least I remember in my education and sort of looking at the United States, for example, where the university fees are just so high that people are forced to start working and sort of start to think a little bit more just in themselves, right? So it's a very interesting kind of comparison. The objectives of children, which are maybe a little bit more pure than when we sort of get a little bit older, a little bit more jaded, and sort of sucked in, to the daily grind.
And now we would like to explain why. I mean, some good Ostlik three main ideas of what's happened with them. So we understand it's not always pathologic, but it's something is happening, and it's general now. We're not talking about 1 or 2 children, but of most of the children of today's. One thing is about the metabolism. Do you want to help me with this?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting point, because I think most of us can remember as well, maybe we went to school with somebody who had hyperactivity or ADD, attention deficit disorder. Something very, very important, because this really ties into children's health as well. Pediatricians are observing that the metabolism of today's children has changed. In general, they have higher energy levels, they are faster and more precocious in all areas of human development. So that's something that's very important to take into account, isn't it, Naomi?
Definitely. And it should not be mistaken with hyperactivity. The metabolism is faster, definitely. So some pediatricians, they will say that the hypothesis that the mitochondria, inside the mitochondria, where all the energy is built up, it's like the place, ¿cómo dice una fábrica?
The fabric, I guess.
The fabric. The fabric is another thing, no?
Yeah.
Where all the energy of the human being is processed. So it's faster, definitely. And maybe it has something to do with ATP. meaning they eat less, most of them, not all of them, or sleep less and have more energy. And this is the new, according to the position, it will be the new characteristics of them, the new metabolism. And more precocious, meaning the position always said to me, Noemi, what I used to learn at school, at the university, all those tables with all the, at this age you do that, at this age you do that, at 8 months old, they crawl.
Level descriptors.
They are not inside my tables anymore.
Oh.
So I have to update myself and relearn everything because they really are much, much, much faster.
Mm-hmm. So the makeup.
So education too should adapt to that. If not, they get bored. And what happens when a child is bored? It will go to the other one. It will go here. It will do something else, and it will maybe bother somebody, and then it will be punished, and then we lose them. And they are the brightest, and they are so intelligent, and they are so fast. So we have to change that definitely. The other one is called larger perception or hyperesthesia.
Hyperesthesia. A little bit of a tongue twister, hyperesthesia. So facing sensory stimuli, pediatricians have also seen a rise in perception level. I remember we were discussing this, Naomi, the other day, and there's a really good example of when children are yelled at. What happens?
If an adult yells to a children, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have two problems here because of the famous hyperesthesia. It really hurts. I mean, all their senses are more sensitive. So the hearing, the smell, the taste, the skin, everything. So if you yell, first of all, it will hurt. They will really hate it. And then emotionally, they are destroyed because they are yelled by somebody they love, by their parent or the teacher. So please, we shouldn't do that. And as well with the touch, for instance, they will be bothered with the label. They will be bothered with itching. They will prefer to have cotton or to have like smooth fabric. So that's not capriccio. It's not like, I do say capriccio.
They're not being spoiled. They're not being like, sometimes people say brats, like misbehaving, oversensitive. It's not.
It's not. It's just they're really bothered. It's on a physical sense, and we have to be aware of that. Noise and light. A lot of noise and a lot of light bother them.
Yeah, so they're not acting.
Just listen to your child or your student. If they say this bothers me, just pay attention and tell the psychologists and tell the doctors too. And it's a situation we can deal easily with if you know, if you are aware of it. And this is my favorite. Would you like to pronounce that for us?
Synesthesia. So we're going to look at the synesthetic brain. We're going to look at a video that features Daniel Tammet. What is the synesthetic brain? But just to give a little bit of context about the video that we're going to see, Naomi.
Yeah, this is something we noticed in young people, for instance. We noticed like 6%, 8% will relate to this kind of brain. And in small ones, I would say maybe more, but they can't express to you. And there's a brain that processes extremely fast. At the same time, all the part of the brain is working at the same time. So that's why they can see music or they can listen to colors. I mean, all the senses are mixed and usually mixed with a very, very bright intelligence, a long-term memory, fascinating. So be aware, maybe that will be the brain of the future. This is what I kind of projecting. It's there is a lot of information. This is not new. There is some studies from 80, and it's fascinating. I mean, the human brain is fascinating. We have much more possibilities, much more abilities, much more to explore and to unlock in our brain and DNA. And this is maybe one of the goals of the new education, to unlock all this potential. Well, I have goosebumps, Dave. This is amazing. Please investigate, research.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff, and like we've discussed, it's all linked together. Education, society, evolution. It's all linked together. It makes so much sense once you sort of start to understand it all. So why don't we have a look at the video, so our
Yes,
viewers
definitely.
can see who Daniel Tammet is and how his brain works.
Daniel Tammet is from England, and the nice thing is now more than 30 years old, so he can explain what happened to his brain. And he did accept that the scientists did some research on his brain, so we have more information now. And his brain is definitely a synesthetic brain. So let's see what's happened with him and what is the test they did on him.
Glasses hide the powers. Exterior.
This is the way it will capture information all at the same time and extremely fast.
Brains our planet has ever seen.
And this is a test they did.
Tested Tammet's memory. They had him take a look at pi, a string of numbers that goes on forever.
You went through that once.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was it. One time only.
Once,
The
Dave,
first
once.
22,000 digits of pi.
4, 1, 5, 9.
Then, in front of a disbelieving audience, he begins reciting the numbers back in order from memory.
5, 7.
5 mathematicians struggling to keep up, checking every single digit.
2, 5, 9, 0.
It's mesmerizing.
3, 4, 6, 9, 0. 1, 9, 9, 0.
After 5 hours and 9 minutes.
Finished. Yeah.
Every single one. Perfect.
I learned to count like anyone else at a young age. And when I did, I would see colors. I would see pictures in my mind. I assumed at the time that everyone saw numbers as I did.
Tammet didn't do math like the teacher said. The answers just came to him. Watch how he finds the answer to 53 times 131.
With a sum like 53, round, very round, arch at the bottom, and then you've got another number here, 131, which is longer, a little bit like an hourglass, symmetrical, and in the middle you've got a negative space, then you have a third shape, and this I see is the solution to the sum, 6, 9, 4, 3.
For Tammet, every digit is a three-dimensional shape. 9 is large, deep blue, concave. 4 is small, light blue. Angular. 10 is like a metallic puddle. To memorize a long number like pi, he just forms a beautiful landscape out of those shapes.
It's a world, it's a novel world.
A world science cannot fully understand. Tammet has Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism that makes him unnaturally obsessive, focused. He also has something called synesthesia. In a normal brain, different parts don't talk to each other. In Tammet's brain, they do. That's why he sees numbers as beautiful shapes and color. They call Tammet an autistic savant, like Rain Man.
Do you know how much the square root of 2,130 is?
46.15192304. 2304.
Most savants, like Dustin Hoffman's character, find normal life social interaction almost impossible.
Were you bullied at school? Yes, I would have gestures, flapping of the hands, for example, walking in circles, and the other children would repeat that back to me, tease me, call me names.
But these days, crowds flock to hear Tammet speak.
The most extraordinary brain. His name is Daniel Tammet. I realized, that
So, mira, él ahora tiene conferencia, habla de todo. Es extraordinario su vida.
It is extraordinary. So he has conferences, yet it's interesting how the qualities that maybe at school perceived as weaknesses, we later discover, because we're, with education, we're always learning, researching, investigating. These are actually amazing strengths. I mean, like, for most people, remembering phone numbers is kind of like difficult enough, right? So this guy.
Goodbye.
Yeah, this guy was.
Sorry, in English, es extraordinario su vida. His life is absolutely extraordinary. Sorry about that. Ding ding. My brain is functioning all at the same time.
3000 is a global organization, so all languages are welcome. So here we have a quote from a Brazilian pediatrician. Tell us a little bit about this, Naomi.
Marcia de Carvalho Soares. Yeah, we did some research with many doctors. We really wanted to know what's going on. And she reiterated, she confirmed our research. Do you want to read it?
Sure. So she said that the neurosensory system is sharper. The cardio system, the heart, thymus, seems more sensitive, and the metabolic system in general is more developed and precocious. So this is obviously research about children that backs up the research that we did, and this comes from 2015, quite recent as well.
Yeah, so 5-6 years, and then we have to be aware and to follow up on that, because now we have some report from younger children, and that's absolutely amazing. So it's probably evolving in a good sense, in the good sense of the term. So be very aware of that, of all these changes. And be aware, something is called mirror neurons. Do you know what it is?
I don't know much. So sorry. Mirror neurons. Tell us a little bit about. I know a little bit, but I'd also like to know a little bit more, and I'm sure our viewers are curious as well. We've got a quote here from Giacomo Risolatti.
And this study starts in Italy, and the physiologists, the scientists, they figure out there is a lot of cells in the brain, especially in the frontal lobe, the fourth brain we were talking about, and it's called mirror neuron. They can feel and capture the other person, and this is linked to the emotional intelligence actually, directly. So they can really, it's like feel and understand the other person directly, mirror to mirror. It's like when you laugh, everybody's laughing at the end in a group. This is because of the mirror neuron.
And it's very, like, as Risolatti says, they produce a powerful capacity for empathy, Strong word.
If that's the future, we are in good shape, because then you have empathy with animals, with nature, with all the levels of life, with your girlfriend and boyfriend, with your family, with your student. So it's really very good news, and it's a good idea to develop those mirror neurons. There is some techniques, and from education to really help this part of the human being to be more aware, more developed, more in empathy, more in tune, and recognize it. It's not a problem. It's wonderful. Empathic a person with a lot of empathy, a wonderful person.
Yeah, I like what you said, Naomi. If we're able to develop this capacity, we're going to be in good shape for the future.
Definitely.
And here we have 9 main points about emotional intelligence from Dr. Daniel Goleman. That children are extremely fast, immediate, persevering, assimilation of the whole, acute perception, collaboration, again that word, association trigger, art and spirituality, personalized thinking. So maybe you can unpack some of these ideas a little bit more, explain a little bit more about these, Naomi, and why they're important.
Yeah, and then you can notice it's linked to what we saw, because acute perception is linked with hyperesthesia. All the senses are more accurate. Collaboration, definitely. Those children, they won't accept like a strong authority. Do it because I said so. They won't even respond. But if you talk about collaboration, teamwork, we have to do it together, they really respond to that. That's a good tip for you, parents and teachers. Association and trigger. You give just a piece of the information and they will unfold. They will pull out the rest. So again, education is going to be more easy, more fun, and with more protagonism of the children and the young people themselves. And it's so important about emotional intelligence. We will do one video only on that. Actually, I think that's the next one. Let me check. Yeah, the number 4, after the videos, after the next videos.
So not the next one, but the following one.
The following one. Great.
So we're gonna
my English is going to be better with you, Dave. Thank you.
like we discussed in the first video, we're always learning. I think this is something that as well, especially adults, we need to change our idea that once we get to a certain age, we suddenly know everything. No, like we always need to maintain our inner child. We always need to keep learning. It just makes life and society a lot better, right?
Yeah, as I told you on the first video, I'm French, so that's why I have a French accent, and I'm so glad David is with us for these videos in English. Frontal lobes, the fourth brain, so important. We will do another video only on that because it helps you with lateral thinking, which is extremely important, even more important than critical thinking. It's the next step. Creativity, execution, altruism. This is a part of the brain of the future. I think the evolution will be here. It's going to grow. No, it's a joke, but we have this part really activated. And you see the pictures here on the left?
Yeah, we can sort of see there's a very interesting contrast here. In A, we can see that there's discrete activation of the brain in a task with little motivation, as opposed to B, the same task, but a high level of motivation. We can really see the difference in the activation of the brain and the frontal lobe.
Yeah, here. When it's red, it's more activated. So we have this part definitely more activated than here. And high motivation can be your project. It can be something you really like to do. It's something you do with creativity, with fun. That's it. It will automatically like activate this part. It will just poof. I do say when you just go up very fast.
I guess you could say explodes, you know, not literally, but really it's a
and the rest of the brain is activated too, and more synapses are connected. Spur up.
And again, we remind you that if you want to check out more information, we've got the YouTube channel with a lot of great material, our website, Facebook. You can also contact us if you want to get involved, like we discussed in the first video. The doors are always open. These links are all below in the description, and we might as well provide some of the links to the videos as well that we discussed and saw today. So what's the next video in our series? The series, I remind you guys, Co-Recreating Education. This is level 1 of the P3000 series.
It's a series of 25 videos. The next one, so interesting, education. We will see what the neuroscientists are telling us, the tips they have for us, and that will be our video number 3. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe, put some comments, and put a like.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And please, we go on and do your own research too. Go on YouTube. You can interview your doctor, your pediatricians, interview the teachers, listen to your children and young people. They would probably be they will be so happy to tell you more about themselves. So this is a fantastic time.
Thanks, Naomi. Thanks, everybody. So we'll see you for the next video, number 3 in our series. Bye.
See you. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Just a minute. I'm so happy with this video. I love it. And I mean, there's so much information, so many things that we do not know regarding our brain, the way that it has been changing and the way the brain is now. I'm so amazed. So many ideas like this synesthetic brain and the hyperesthesia, something that we didn't hear before, like when we were growing. So it's wonderful to see how the kids are changing. Yes. Could you tell us something that...
It's very important. And we have a surprise for you.
Yes. What is our surprise?
We have a special guest. So she will comment on her own experience as well. I'm talking about a great friend, Kausar Shaya. She's from Lebanon. So she will talk to us from Beirut. And here we are. Hello, Kausar.
Hi, Kausar. How are you doing? Oh, that's great.
Let's see if the sound is working.
I'm great.
Yes, it's all working. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. I was listening to that as well too, and my heart is really you cannot imagine. I can see the difference. My kids are growing up now. I have a son 30 years old and a daughter, she's 25. But watching my niece and my nephews growing around me, I can tell how important, how the thing that you talk activities. I can see them, and I can see some kids. Even we live in an Arabic country where language is. You see the kids these days, 2 years old or 3 years old. They do speak English very well, even better than me, just because they're learning through the iPad or the social media thing, and they know exactly where to go on YouTube and select the song they like or the video they wanted to watch. So I can 100% agree with what we were talking about. This generation is way more intelligent than others. But in my studies as well, and Naomi knows that my background is I have studied MRI, medical diagnostic imaging. So diagnostic imaging is most part of it is frequency and quantum physics. And then when I see these pictures about the brain and all that, I remember I have part of the studies before, and people who meditate and people who have certain working in certain diseases for certain medication and stuff. And I see now the kids and how they behave and how this brain thing structure is changing. I can tell we're really going fast. And it's like quantum leap. You talk about this before now, Naomi, and I know we're going really fast. And this generation, I think we need to. My thing that I see now is how we can connect our generation with theirs, because I think they're going so far and we're still here. So we need to catch up with them in order for us to create a good generation. We don't want to lose them in somehow. So what we were working on this project is we're trying to connect our generation to this new generation, which is way faster than us, trying to get into their mind and get what they really want. Because in most of the places, they're so bored. And as you were taught in the videos as well too, when you give them the information, they run the everything and all what you need. It's like they're creators. And this is what we need our kids. We need them to be the creators. We need them to discover everything on their own. And being on this new generation as a mother or as an aunt, I can see these kids, they look at me in different eye when I understand what they want. But I see other mothers, they do try to force their kids to do certain things. And it's really sad because, you know, we cannot force them to do that. And you see when the kid put his hand on his head because he doesn't want to listen, the mom screaming on or forcing things on them. And this is, I don't think that we can act like that with these kids these days, you know? So it's very...
Wow. And this is the proof, it's all over the world, because now I am in South America. We did some research in Europe. Kausar, you are in Middle East. I study as well in Asia because my granddaughter is over there. Giovanna is in the States.
Yes.
So it's really something for the whole planet. So I'm so glad we have all the reports. Thank you, Kausar, for your time too. And yes, dear parents, mom, dad, teachers, be aware and know and have all the last information, I would say, and tools. Giovanna, do you have some comments about your daughter? How is it for you?
You know, it's like more like I have seen my daughter. She was born on 2005. Okay, and I can see the difference. Not the difference between our own childhood, like when we were growing, and how my daughter, when she was 2, she would draw some, make some drawings. Okay, and in the drawings, she said like, okay, we are in this drawing. We're in with one friend in a world watching some other worlds. She would draw like the universe, you know, in her two-year-old version. But you know, these kind of things where they can actually draw what they are living in the moment. And she had a very nice drawing also, a seed, like in a spiral way. And
Wow.
everything in the drawing is a spiral. And she said like, look, this kind of seed. This seed is doing the whole world to be changing, like seeds. You know, the sun was with the spirals, everything with spirals. So this kind of made me think that there's more with these kind of kids. It's more coming. So I understand why education needs to be changing. That's a wonderful thing. Yes.
Actually, sometimes they call that a holographic brain, when you can perceive different levels of consciousness at the same time. Kausar, what do you think about this from the quantum perspective? Oh, yes. Can you hear us? Yes. You were frozen a little bit.
Over her daughter. Yes. Yes. Actually,
Go ahead. We can hear you. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm as a hypnotherapist as well. I have. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm as a hypnotherapist. My experience is we do bring in our DNA. We do bring something from our past life. I know some people may disagree with that, but we bring more than 25% genes from our past life, and we bring some from our parents as well, and the rest of it is like 25 to 30% from food and the lifestyle that we live in. So basically, we can change our habit by changing the way that we think, and we all know that. So I do believe this new generation, they are so much connected to all that. It's like we call it a Akashic record, and it's all like a Google search. They're connected and they all know all this information. It's not nothing they protect, but they do already have knowledge. And if we really help them out to be more creative, they can do a lot more, and we can really move way faster than what we can imagine.
Yes, that's wonderful. It's wonderful to know, and it brings me to the part of the video where you talk about these trends of them having these psychic abilities and those kind of things that have increased on time, isn't it? Like there's more percentage of kids that have that ability now. So I'm happy, and I just tried to keep her doing her thing, trying to not to mess with her art. That's what we called them. Yeah, it was wonderful. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I would say that the new education, or what was going up or showing up or coming, is easier. You see, it's not like the problem of education. It's a bless of education and grow together and observe.
yeah,
Like your daughter, let her blossom, and Kausar, let them be who they are. We are in good shape. This is as well the news we want to pass down with this master class, like to relax and to take the good side of the children and the good side of the new education and the good side of the new society we want to create together, which is solidarity, peace, take care of nature, very based on common sense as well. And this is what we want.
Yeah.
So that is a good combination.
yes.
Oh, almost past the hour. I don't know what happened today.
Yes. Yes.
What would be your conclusion for today? Let's start with Kausar. What do you recommend us?
Well, I do believe if we can just get them to do what they want and really talk to them like really a big person. It's not like a little kid, and treat them like very much equal, go down to their level and let them go up into our level as well to understand more each other and be more focus more on what they really want, and don't force them to do anything without understanding them clearly, because I do really feel this gap between the parents and between the kids these days, because the mother still thinks that she can raise her kids the same way that her mother raised her.
Yes.
And here it's a big gap. I don't think that we can keep doing the same mistake again, because this generation is way far more intelligent than ours, and I think the social media, like what we're doing now, bring everything together, and these kids are learning way more faster than what we can imagine.
Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
right. That's right. For me, Naomi, it's like I can agree with Kausar. The first thing would be like try to catch up with those kids. As grown-ups, I believe that part of our duty, we'll say, part of the activities that we have to do is just checking on us in the way that we are answering to those kids, the way that we are answering to everyone. So that will be more like an inner work that we have to do in order to accomplish with all of this. And with these tools now, we can do that. I mean, because we have so many ones, and then we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for your time, ladies. So we will see everybody next week. We will be every Friday,
Perfect.
6 p.m. UK time.
Yes.
Pacific time will be US 10, and that's going to be much later I think in Lebanon it will be like 8 o'clock. What time is it now in Beirut?
8
8
o'clock.
o'clock. So we will start at 7 p.m. in Beirut, Lebanon.
Yeah.
And if you have more friends, we would like to have some news from Asia as well, from Australia. Let's work together. Thank you so much.
Thank
that
you.
here is our website if you want to have more information. And this is all free, and we have many books and exercise books and about 200 videos. So take care and see you
Thank you.
soon.
See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Kausar.
Love you.
Thank you, Giovanna. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for everybody watching us
You.
with this good
Bye.
energy to go forward with this beautiful
Bye.
what's the name of it? When good vibe, I will say.
Goodbye.
Take
Yes.
care. See you. Bye bye.
See you next class. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.